Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer, and I'm your host here at ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about demographic information under both Regulation B and HMDA. Right? So first of all, we need to start off by saying, what is demographic information? Well, demographic information is the new term under the new HMDA rules for government monitoring information. So DI equals GMI. It's basically one of the same. Reg B still calls it GMI, HMDA now calls it DI. It's basically the same, except slightly different. Under Regulation B, government monitoring information includes ethnicity, race, sex, marital status, and age, while under HMDA, it includes ethnicity, race, and gender, and the most recent rules added age as well. So that's what the information is. This is information that your loan officers must be collecting at application, right? They must be collecting this information at application. That's the requirement, at application, not right before closing, not at closing, not after closing, right? It's at application. So this becomes a very common violation, and that is why this is important. We've seen it time and time again. In fact, the Federal Reserve recently gave us some statistics in regards to violations, both under Regulation B and under HMDA or Regulation C. Under Regulation B, they say 10% of exams have issues, under HMDA, for collecting the information wrong. Under Regulation B, it's the same. 10% of exams found violations for collecting it incorrectly. And in addition to that, 8.3% of exams had Reg B violations for collecting it when it was not required. So this is a very common violation. It's what we call low-hanging fruit, right? Things examiners can come in and probably almost find at every financial institution. Auditors do this all the time. They go straight to this area because it's a human element. Your loan officers have to know it, but the rules are extremely complex. Now, for HMDA reporters, I'm sorry, I cannot help you today. I don't have time in a 3 to 5 minute video to tell you on when HMDA is required. But if a loan is HMDA reportable, then you have to collect your demographic information. What we will talk about today is when demographic information, or GMI, is required under Regulation B. So first of all, I need to explain that you're going to be collecting information either as a non-HMDA reporter, which means Reg B only, or if you're a HMDA reporter, you're going to be collecting both under HMDA and Reg B. So this is going to apply to everybody. So let's take a look at Regulation B. The rule is actually found in Section 1002.13 of Regulation B, which says that a creditor that receives an application for credit primarily for the purchase or refinancing of a dwelling occupied or to be occupied by the applicant as the principal residence, where the extension of credit will be secured by the dwelling, you must collect government monitoring information. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Right? There's a lot there. So let's break this down briefly. First of all, it talks about credit primarily for the purchase or refinancing. What it doesn't include is equity loans. So if you're doing an equity loan, you're not going to be collecting government monitoring information unless you're a HMDA reporter and it's HMDA reportable. So under Reg B, you're only going to collect it for a purchase or a refinance. Now the debate becomes, what about a refinancing of an equity loan? I'm in the camp that says you don't collect government monitoring information in that point. You're only going to collect it when you have a refinancing of purchase money. Now that's debatable, so you may have to make a decision on how you train on this, but I'm of the camp that says if you have a purchase, you know it's purchase money, and you do a refinancing, then you collect it. But if it was an equity loan where they took a home that was free and clear, took cash out for college or for a vacation or for a boat, then you would not collect the information at that time. Now, if it's a refinancing from another organization, you have no clue, go for it. Collect the information. That's fine. Right? But that's the first part. It's for a purchase or refinancing. Then the second part is of a dwelling that's occupied or to be occupied as a principal residence, right? So it has to be a primary residence. And the final part is where the extension of credit will be secured by the dwelling. So we're looking at it there by breaking it down. One thing I think that might help in understanding when government monitoring information is required under Regulation B is to actually try to define this with some exemptions, right? So some typical exemptions under Regulation B include HELOCs are typically exempt, but not always, because if a HELOC was for a purchase or a refinance of purchase money, then you would have to collect government monitoring information. Now, HMDA reporters, this is something that could catch you. Typically, HELOCs, if you're not reporting HELOCs, I should say, if you're not reporting HELOCs, typically they're not going to be reported. But if you have a rare case where a HELOC is used to purchase the funds are going to be used to purchase a home, you have to collect the government monitoring information, and it's still not going to be HMDA reportable if you don't report HELOCs. So it's a quirk for HMDA reporters. The second typical exemption is loans that don't have a purpose of a purchase or refinance. So an equity loan is going to be exempt. Also, temporary financing to construct a dwelling is temporarily exempt. I'm saying temporarily, right? Typically is the word I'm trying to say. Sometimes my mind and my mouth don't say what I mean, but you got it, right? You know what I meant. It's typically exempt if it's temporary financing, right? Now, there's a quirk to this because unless the application for the permanent mortgage is included with the application for temporary financing. So if they include the app for the permanent mortgage at the same time, then you have to collect the GMI because it's for the permanent loan, right? Makes sense. Also, vacation homes as secondary residence are going to be exempt because they're not a primary residence. This is a huge violation where we see government monitoring information collected on vacation homes and secondary residences. It is not permitted. There's one other quirk I wanted to mention to you is there is a difference in how we define a dwelling between Regulation B and HMDA. It's confusing for HMDA reporters. Now, if you're not a HMDA reporter, it's pretty simple because under Regulation B, a dwelling is a residential structure with 1 to 4 units. So if you have a multifamily property of 5 or more, you do not collect government monitoring information if you're not subject to HMDA. Now, for HMDA reporters, they define it differently because you're going to have apartment complexes, but you exclude transitory residences like dormitories and hotels and hospitals, but that's, again, a discussion for another day. Now, that's really almost all that I have, because the bottom line here, of course, is to make sure your lenders understand these requirements because this is an extremely common violation. Now, I promise that is all I have for today. I hope you found this clip to be very beneficial. For those of you who may not have seen our videos before, this is a compliance clip that is free, as all of our videos are for our members at compliancecohort.com. We have a free membership with tons of articles and videos. Take a look at that, see if you want to sign up. For those of you who are members, we really appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching this clip, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.